Yeah, welcome to episode 12 of the Rogue Roots podcast. No, Free Rogue Roots.
Free Rogue Roots!
Until it's backwards.
So,
They're trying to censor us.
it's another Matrix attack. Trying to silence me because they know what I'm saying is gonna stop people from being in a slave mindset. It's gonna break them out from this societal confinement of them being in a box. And this gets right to our next topic.
Oh shit.
Now we're gonna introduce me.
So we're here with a beautiful, oh my gosh. He's so good looking. This beautiful guest, Patrick Cronin. Patrick, show him your shirt.
Sigma.
Yeah, he actually won Sigma Medal of the Year award over this last year. And
Alright, Patrick, give us a little introduction about yourself.
So my name is Patrick. I'm 19 years old. I currently go to college and play basketball at Wentworth Institute of Technology, and I would consider myself a very big Sigma male. I like to read a lot. I like to meditate. I like to exercise a lot, and generally just overall trying to improve myself and especially improve my mental health and mental capacities to be able to hopefully achieve great things one day.
so you being calling yourself a Sigma male, and you also striving for greatness to improve yourself. I would say you being a Sigma male is because your path is a lot different than I would say me and Eamon's. You reject a lot of modern practices to improve yourself, and you're just more of the foundational things you need for success.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. There's a lot of things that I believe in modern society that can be used as really helpful tools towards a lot of people, but it also depends on what your goals are. For me right now, I'm not 100% what my goals are right now, to be honest with you. So I try to cut out some modern things in my life that I think make people very comfortable, which I think can be an enemy of personal development, spiritual growth, and just being in a good mental state, which ultimately for me, I think is more important than a lot of things.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Not a question for you, but let's talk about how societal pressures can kind of confine you to not achieve your true goals. And do you have any other personal experiences where you have diverted from what everyone else has done and overall achieved a powerful outcome from that?
So, for example, I'm 19. I just graduated high school. I'm in my first year of college right now, and with a lot of my friends going through the college application process, a lot of them were really stressed out about getting into different prestigious universities, worrying about things like acceptance rates, rankings, things like that. Whereas my path was definitely a little bit different, and I'm really happy with where it ended up so far. So right now I go to Wentworth Institute of Technology in Boston, and I play basketball there.
Very tough.
I'd say I'm pretty tough. Playing basketball for me is something I really enjoy, and in the modern traditional sense of success, I wouldn't say it has anything really to do with that. I do it for myself. It's not like, I'm not going to go to the NBA. I'm not going to make any money off of it, anything like that. But
Who knows with the money?
of course. But it's definitely something that means a lot to me, and it's something that I value a lot in my life, whereas it's not necessarily important to other people, and that's okay. So where I was going with this was, in terms of the college process, the school I go to, Wentworth, is an awesome school, but however, straight up academics-wise, rankings-wise, acceptance rate-wise, I know I definitely could have gone into a quote-unquote more prestigious, more higher-up university than that. And some people said to me, they were like, oh, why are you going there? Well, one, I liked it. It's in Boston. Two, playing basketball. And then what's really big is, there might be slightly less of a straight academics focus. It's very focused on preparing you for the workforce and getting you ready to get a job. And we do two co-ops, so I'm going to graduate with a year of work experience to be ahead of my peers in that way. So instead of valuing something such as straight up academics, straight up rankings with that, I knew that's not what I like doing. I don't like taking notes all day and doing tests and all that. I wanted to get real hands-on work experience. So that was a good example of that for me.
So would you say your number one driver to get Wentworth was more about the academics, or was that kind of inspiration to go there started from your obviously opportunity to play basketball?
That's a good question. I think basketball was definitely a big part of it.
Mhm.
And when I looked into the school, I was talking to multiple schools in terms of playing college basketball at, and I think Wentworth was big because again, the academics are still good, but what was more important to me was really preparing me for life outside of academia and outside of college.
Yeah.
I'm not going to become a college professor. I'm not going to be writing papers all day, doing all this stuff.
Mhm.
So I think that's what was the most important for me.
Academia is a tough word.
Academia, yeah. Almost out of it.
So, I've always kind of noticed with your path, your choices, and where you put your time, basketball has always been a big focus for you.
Definitely.
So you have to make a lot of sacrifices. Even from when you were like 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, younger, you wouldn't really be going out. You'd be focusing on basketball. You wouldn't be wanting to get better. You'd be working out. You'd be going for runs. You'd be on the beach at 3 a.m. Screaming one of your teammates' names for your rivalry. You would just do a lot of things to try to get yourself, just level yourself up.
Definitely.
So,
What do you think your influence was that? Or like, what do you think influenced you to do that?
So I think my dad was definitely a big influence of mine. I would consider my dad to be one of my biggest role models in life. He was really, I mean, not to get too into it, but he's kind of his story and everything. I won't get too into it, but really embodies coming up from nothing and hard work and just grinding everything. So that really inspired me. Not that at first he definitely got me into basketball, and then it's really just been my love for the game, and I've always wanted to get better. And just in my mind, I'm not sure why it is, but it's just for me, I can't rationalize doing this, that, or the other thing over playing basketball for whatever reason, for worse, but that's just how my values lie. That's what I think is more important for me. Yeah.
So success can I've seen this actually as of recently, but some people define success. There can be a few definitions. It could be the continuous realization of a worthy ideal. That's from Earl Nightingale. And then there's another one I heard, which is success and like finding your purpose is just enjoying the passage of time. So would you say you're building towards a better basketball career, you allocate all your time there, has made you just fundamentally enjoy life better, and obviously all the things that come with that, like your meditation with supplements, that your actual diet, all that. Would you say that would help you enjoy the passage of time and overall help you find your purpose?
Who said that quote? I like that a lot.
I forgot. I at least saw it today on I was doing some like short form content scrolling brain rot. But you would know about that.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I just thought it was really cool because that does make a lot of sense to me.
So I love that quote. I think that is, I would 100% agree with that definition of success. And I think that would definitely identify with me. Like I know for me, it's always been big about in terms of basketball, and I try to do it with other things, but basketball is kind of the easiest one, is valuing the process over the outcome, valuing every single workout I do, every single lift, every single skill session, every time I go to really touch a basketball in any sense, is I am loving it. I'm enjoying it. I'm in the moment. I'm not just treating it as a means to an end. I'm treating each single session as an end. Because when you're doing something in terms of just doing it, oh, I'm just doing this to get to there, but then you reach there, and now what? It could have been, I know, for example, so I'm playing in college right now. A lot of people when they reach...
Wait, you play for college?
Yeah, I play for college. A lot of people when they reach college, that's been their goal for a while, and they're like, oh, now what? They start to get lazy, they start to get complacent. And that's nothing wrong with that. It's not for everyone, but it's just every single day valuing what you put in over the necessary outcome. For example, my love for basketball has never wavered whatsoever and especially with sports, there are going to be highs and lows, and I've already experienced a lot of that even in my AU or high school careers especially. But just always sticking true to the path and valuing what you put in every day and just enjoying every moment of it the best you can.
I like what you said about how when people reach that kind of goal, they end up plateauing in the progress because they feel like, oh, they have nothing else left to accomplish. And this comes with the idea that I actually talked about on a post on my social media today about the idea of a paradigm shift to where if these people that are losing, some kids on your team, they quit, right? So these kids that they quit, they lost their drive because they've already reached their destination. If they just shift their perspective on what happened, they just see it as another stepping stone and just use that almost like that small goal as just positive reinforcement to end up working harder and maybe get a more significant role in the basketball team, they'd probably enjoy that passage of time towards getting a more significant role and have more of a purpose to funnel all their energy into.
I would agree with that 100%. And like you said about not having whatever like role on the team, something like that. Like getting to college has caused me to have a huge paradigm shift in going from the sense of in high school, I basically took for advantage playing the whole game, but now I'm back at the bottom. There's a lot of guys that are a lot better than me, and every day I have to go and work harder and try and improve. And obviously, they're my teammates, they're my friends, I like them a lot, but trying to get better than them so I can have the role and get to where I want to be.
So who are some of these guys on your team that are pretty good?
Let's see. So there's Tyler Stewart, Jack Connell, Sam Goy, Nate Brinkman,
Oh, they're tough.
Thomas Hacker. They're pretty good, I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard.
So
What was the last one?
Oh, Thomas Hacker.
who is that? So getting into let's just get more to like the intricacies of your growth towards becoming a better basketball player. What are some things you use to supplement? Because basketball is a lot more than skills. It's mental. It's pretty much everything that goes into it, and the way what you think about will kind of could not how you play well in the game. So what are some small things you have added to your life to not only elevate yourself, but elevate yourself on the court?
So a lot of these things are more recent, and I wish that I discovered them sooner because their benefits have been. So I'd say the biggest one of these would be, I don't know how much you guys have talked about it before, but meditation.
We've touched on that a little bit.
Touched on it. So I would consider myself a pretty big meditator. Not that I'm super advanced or anything. I consider myself a somewhat intermediate meditator, but
I don't mean to cut you off, but I was talking to Gavin Kemsky recently, and he was saying he's writing a 10-page paper on meditation, important to mindfulness.
I was talking to him, but
So I just think it's pretty cool. So continue.
very cool. So mindfulness meditation is something that I try to practice every single day for around 30 minutes. Sometimes I'll do longer sessions. I've done multiple hour sessions. I don't think I've ever gone above that, but I've done a lot of 30-minute sessions, a lot of 45-hour sessions. And then what also is just important is the smaller 10-minute sessions, the 5-minute sessions, that just not formal sessions, but just
Or even just noticing, feeling of the table every once in a while.
exactly, or going for a walk and just taking everything in, just
Feeling the air blow on your skin.
exactly. But to not get too into it, you guys could do an entire episode dedicated towards mindfulness and meditation. But I'd say it just really clears my mind and takes out any worry, any negative emotions, anything like that from just everyday life, and especially when I'm playing basketball, because I do have a tendency to overthink with confidence and this, that, and the other thing, and just trust in my skills and just be level-headed, clear-minded. For example, during halftime of my game the other day, it's halftime, everyone can go get a couple shots up, get warm.
Meditating.
And I sat down for 2 or 3 minutes and I just meditated on the bench. And that got me into a mindset where I felt like I was ready to succeed when to get back in the game.
I think the fundamentals of mindfulness meditation, I think this is what people don't understand about it. Meditation isn't about becoming all zen, It's more about just heightening your ability to stay present in the moment, block out the past, block out the present.
Exactly.
Because the past is what?
The past is just memories. The future is just predictions. The present moment is all you have. If you are in the past too much, it's going to cause two things. You're either going to be reliving past joys, past successes, which then that's just going to be like, damn, I wish I had that. I wish I was back there. If you're thinking about the past in a bad way, it's going to come to you in trauma or things like that. Wow, that was so awful. That's going to affect your present moment. If you're thinking about the future, you can be, for example, like we were saying, valuing the process over the outcome. If you're only thinking about, once I get here, once I get there, that's definitely going to take away from your mental state of happiness. And then if you're thinking about, if you're worrying, it's going to be turning to worrying and anxiety, saying, I hope this doesn't happen. But none of these things are fundamentally important to us most of the time. It's just being in the present moment. Obviously, of course, you can plan, you can use the past for reminders as lessons, things like that. But I believe most of your time, and especially just like mentally, you should be in the present moment as much as possible because it's really all you have.
And to go on to the future, when you were talking about the future, you were talking about happiness and how that's when I thought of quote that I love, which goes, desire is a contract that you make with yourself to be happy, to not be happy until you get what you want.
Definitely.
And so I think that goes really well with the fact that you should always try and stay present and not seek desires and just do the shit that makes you happy instead of, I guess, desiring the shit that you think will make you happy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
So You're talking about confidence in the court and stuff like this.
Yep.
So if you're not present in the moment, you're always having anxiety about the future, about, oh, what's gonna happen if I don't play well, or the past, like, oh, I played bad in this game. That's just gonna kind of clutter your mind and not allow you to perform to your maximum capacity. Mm-hmm. So, would you say before you picked up meditation, you were not able to be as effective on the court as effective as a person because you're too busy thinking about what could happen and what already did happen?
100%. I feel like it's a pretty easy thing to think about in terms of, oh, you know that this is going to be bad for you, identifying even during the span of a game, oh, I missed this shot. But it's really hard not to, and like just thinking about it isn't necessarily good enough. So that's where meditation practice was really big for me in, just gaining the confidence of being whatever happened last week in the game, that was last week. That's no longer a worry of mine. Whatever could happen, okay, that doesn't really matter. It hasn't happened yet. So it's just about being extremely present in the moment. And I think that's big for basketball, but it's big for everything. And that's another thing I wanted to touch on with basketball. And it's like sports, they're not necessarily going to be a big part of your life for your whole life. Mm-hmm. A lot of people's careers end in high school. Some people end in college. Some people are lucky enough to play professionally. But sports are a great teacher of life in terms of a lot of things, in terms of dealing through adversity, ups and downs, teamwork, all sorts of things. And I think that's what's really beautiful about sports. And I think a lot of people don't really recognize that. Sometimes if I'm worrying or just thinking too much about basketball, I say to myself, my friend told me this and I really like this one. At the end of the day, I'm worrying about putting an orange circle inside of an orange circle. It's such a weird thing when you really take a step back and analyze it, but it's like in life, it's not that deep. It's just basketball.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
It can be used as a tool to learn some real life skills. Like sports can build on leadership, sports can build on your discipline, sports can build on your accountability. But I like what you said though. It's your performance in sports is really always going to reflect your performance and effectiveness in life.
No, but oftentimes it can teach you things that will help you be more effective in life.
And talking about success with being in the moment, there was I saw this clip about Michael Jordan saying how his number one skill was just being able to be present in the moment. He was able to just completely solely focus on the game, focusing on his execution, and that's what made him the GOAT. That's what made him the best player ever.
Hmm.
So
what about LeBron?
LeBron is low key better because like he's like bigger, more jacked. I think he's having like big muscles, like being like big and strong, and
like me.
Yeah, like Kev. Like, just being like jacked. Being like jacked in like basketball, like building up your jump shot muscles, really gonna make you play really good.
So I feel like actually like not being jacked, like low key, have you seen like Kevin Durant? I think he's pretty good. So
no, but like if I guarded a 1-on-1, like I'm babying him because like
right,
because he's kind of skinny, but like, I'm like more jacked, kind of like LeBron.
Right.
Like, I'm low key bigger than LeBron, so I'd low key cook LeBron.
Right.
I don't know if you're bigger than LeBron.
Well, right now,
I'm 260.
I feel my biceps contracting. And that's all I can think about.
Are you very mindful right now?
So if I went against LeBron, I wouldn't be thinking about, oh, is he gonna score me? I would think, no, I'm gonna back him down.
You wouldn't think anything.
All I would do is react. Wait, no.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was just reading my natural reaction. I feel no. My natural reaction would be no. I can't be. What's a future prediction?
Yeah, you just react because you're not planning the reactions. You're coming from your subconscious.
What is LeBron? We'll find out. So. So, Patrick, would you say you have any personal anecdotes of where you kind of like took an alternative path to others besides the college thing and really shut away from societal norms, societal pressures, and as a means to elevate yourself?
I do, and let me show you. So,
is that mini Kindle, bro?
No, this is my new phone. You can barely see it in my hand because it's very small.
Should I bring it up to the mic, to the camera?
Okay.
Yo, is this the iPhone 11, bro?
No. So, this is called the Light Phone 2. It was made by a small startup by two dudes in New York. And basically their message was they made a phone to be designed to be used as little as possible. Now, your iPhone is filled with all different fun apps and bright colors, all fighting for your time and attention. Whereas this is designed to be basically as boring as possible so you can't use it. It has, I can call people, I can text people, I can set an alarm, and I can listen to music.
What?
Yeah, he's scrolling on his phone right now.
Exactly.
Distracted from all the colors.
Here's a perfect example.
Recorded today. Is that from the Road Roots Podcast Instagram?
Oh yeah, you'll follow. So,
As I was saying, so it's basically a phone designed to be used as little as possible, and it basically says that a lot of other technologies, such as your most people's iPhones or Android, whatever it is, are fighting for your time and attention, which are two of your most valuable resources that we often take for granted.
And I totally agree with that. And actually, I had a little bit of a plug. My first solo podcast was on attention.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I totally agree.
Nice.
yeah, so you not being on your phone, you not even thinking about your phone and the potential of looking at Instagram, seeing a notification, opening Snapchat and opening it to so many notifications. So just you not even having the thought to do that or the opportunity to do that, it kind of shuns that entire distraction out of your mind. It allows you to focus on what you really got to focus on.
Exactly. That was what's most important to me. And like the biggest thing is I did it on my phone because it's like it's in your pocket at all times, ready to get that dopamine, ready to get that quick thing of entertainment when the slightest hint of boredom comes on. And I think that's really bad. It ruins our mindfulness. It takes us out of the present moment. We can't just sit there and enjoy the present moment if we're riding an elevator or walking down the street to class or whatever it is. We are so obsessed with constant stimulation through either music or our phones or notifications or whatever it is that it really takes us out of the present moment and ruins our mindfulness, ruins our productivity. It takes, Eamon, what's your screen time? Tell the Road Roots podcast what your screen time is.
10 minutes.
Okay.
I can say my screen time.
Let's hear your screen time.
So I was actually kind of on the same exact boat as Patrick in the past. I downloaded this app called Opal that actually blocked me out of all my apps. I probably used to average around 1.5 to 2 hours a day screen time, but now it's up to probably an average of 6 hours because I'm always posting, I'm always managing all the social medias, I'm always doing all like the short form editing, and it's not that I'm even doing that for the entire 6 hours. I'm probably doing it for 2.5, probably 3. But the thing is, me being on my phone so much, me having like already having access on it, ends up cascading into me going on like TikTok to scroll because like I'm just in the middle of work. Like, oh yeah, I can do this while I'm waiting. Like I just finished. I can keep scrolling.
I can reward myself.
I can reward myself.
Exactly.
And it just really goes down a rabbit hole of me being stimulated on my phone so much because I'm already on it. It's already so excessive.
Right, and I'm glad you said that because that's one point I want to make. A lot of people are hating on me for buying this, and I get it. It makes sense. It is definitely not normal, not what you see from the average.
Would you say it's pretty stigma?
Yes, I would. But I'm glad you said that because that is one point I wanted to make. That is one point I wanted to make was I'm not demonizing technology or even social media or anything like that. I think that there's definitely a lot of podcasts. Without technology and social media, I wouldn't be on this great podcast right now, for example.
Yeah.
Or there's so many opportunities when you use social media correctly to connect with people on the other side of the world, see what so-and-so is doing, see what your buddies from high school are doing, to grow a brand, all these sorts of things. But for me, I'm not growing a brand. I'm not worried about any of that right now. And I just wanted to, I thought, do what was best for my mental health and for my mental state. So I thought I'd get rid of my phone and use this. The other thing is, it's a thing about distraction. If I want to, for example, check Instagram or look something up, like this has nothing. I can't even look up whatever on Safari. I want to look something up, check Instagram, check my bank, whatever it is. The big idea is it can wait. I can wait till the end of the day when I can look at it on my computer, and that's the only thing I'm doing. It's when I'm taking me out of the present moment during my day-to-day tasks, that's when I think it's going to kill my productivity, kill my mindfulness, and just kill my overall well-being, in my opinion.
Yeah, my least favorite thing about my phone is I notice I use it as a pit stop between different activities.
Right.
I'll go to the gym. Between sets, I'll go on my phone.
Right.
I'll get home from the gym. I'll sit in my car for 5 minutes, scroll on my phone. I'll get inside my house, go on my phone.
While I'm cooking steak.
Drink some water, yeah.
While I'm waiting for my steak to cook, I'll go on my phone.
And then the other thing is, so you guys both said about the 6 hours a day. I believe the teen average is 7 or 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
But also, just think about how many more things I can do with my times by 15 minutes, and all of that is just actually communicating with friends, family, whatever. Think about how many more real world things I can do. I could go meditate for more. I could go exercise more. I could go read more. I could
Do whatever you want to do.
I could sleep more. That's a big thing. A lot of people don't sleep enough. And all those things I think are more productive. It's not always about productivity. I can also do things that are going to be more enjoyable to me. Would you say, for example, instead of having 2 hours over the span of 2 days, let's say I have 2 hours of brainlessly scrolling on TikTok, getting that short form content, or I could go watch and enjoy a really, really good movie, for example.
Yeah.
I feel like most people would value that movie more.
I think there's even a deeper cost to that. Because when you're scrolling on TikTok, you're not only consuming content for 2 hours, you're also wiring your brain to get stimulation from that drug.
Exactly.
So you end up, once again, you wasting your attention, and even when you're done with that, you're still subconsciously thinking about going back on your phone.
Right.
So those bad practices end up just cascading into a rabbit hole of even more like degenerate behavior.
Right. And a lot of people said they're like, oh, why don't you just delete those apps? Why don't you just like I have the Opal app as well.
You just
limit my screen times. But it's hard. Everything, all the apps, all just the phone in general is all engineered to be used as much as possible. And the more you're using it, the more money they're making, the more they're gonna basically get your brain into that mind state, like Eddie was saying, of needing constant stimulation, all that stuff. It's engineered to be as addictive as possible, and it's hard. There was times I remember I sent you a screenshot one day on Opal. I had 30 minutes of screen time or something,
Sure.
and I was really proud of myself. That was cool. But then the next day, I probably was up a little higher.
Yeah.
It's just like every single time I would, even just having in my pocket, every buzz, every ding, everything like that was just always trying to get me to pull me back in. And I just had enough of it. So that's why I made this switch.
I think that's a very admirable switch to take too.
Thank
Right.
you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I definitely understand it's not for everyone. I mean, I know you'd be doing that in a heartbeat if you didn't have to be creating content.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm on my post, bro. You can go off it. I got you.
No,
I got you.
I still have this.
No, I got you. You just send this up. I'll post it for you.
No, but where can I record it?
Just form this and go on your computer.
Nah.
It is very difficult. And also, it can also be looked at like two different ways. You can consume a lot of positive content as well. You would see the entrepreneurs that give like advice, like a 10-second video that can probably, if you look deeper in that, maybe go into some more just like interesting things that can actually educate you.
100%. And I think
And there's the brain rock content.
sorry to cut you off there, but like I think a lot of these interests, these personal development, a lot of these interests that we have, and a lot of these things that I would agree are making us better as people, improving our futures, improving our presence as well, is I bet you the first thing I ever heard about Stoicism, I bet you, was found scrolling on TikTok, for example.
Fair.
Or the first book recommendation I ever got was scrolling on TikTok. Or something about meditation, or whatever positive habit change that was. I bet you I got somewhere from the internet. So that is, even though I'm doing this, it does seem like I'm demonizing a lot of this stuff, but there are definitely positives to be seen. And the other thing is also, like, a lot of people have said, oh, like, I'm not on Snapchat, I'm not whatever, I'm going to lose contact with people. And that is something I had to think about for a while, but I think for me, that was something I needed to accept. It's really just a quality over quantity people. All of my really close friends and family that, I will be having quality conversations with and staying in touch with, I can still, like, just text me. It's not that hard. You don't need to be Instagram DMing me or sending me a snap.
And like you said about content, I would say it's a little bit ironic us making self-improvement content, but then posting like Instagram reels with super stimulating bump-ups on this, and especially with just all these self-improvement entrepreneurship guys in general. They tell you to get off your phone and focus on your goals. Take action. But they're doing this through a medium where they're hacking your brain to get your attention.
It is very interesting, and I think that is very ironic.
It is very ironic. It's very, very, very hypocritical.
It's a very weird dichotomy.
Yeah.
What does that word even mean?
No, it's a contrast.
Yeah.
It's just kind of strange. Especially on this. We tell everyone to get off their phones and stuff, but we're talking about how we even have trouble doing it.
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing. And the other thing you got to notice is a lot of people that are a hell of a lot worse than you guys. And also, it's like there's nothing wrong with it, but there's always something. Yeah, there's
I
always.
think there's a lot wrong with it. I mean, if we could, I wouldn't go on my phone at all. I definitely, and I'm not saying I could definitely could, but if that's not in line with my goals and things I want to build.
Exactly.
But it just depends what you value for your own happiness.
Yes.
Like I realized if I wanted to, I couldn't make any money. I could move out, become a monk, not consume any content at all, eat just like organic food from fucking wilderness. And if that's what I want for my happiness, and that will help me enjoy my passage of time, I could just do that.
Right.
But that's not the path I'm choosing. I'm choosing a different path where money will in turn buy my freedom.
And that's what's really important in terms of fulfillment is you gotta understand everyone's definition of fulfillment is different.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, someone can be very, very happy living a simple life in terms of being really healthy, living off the land, just being disconnected from everything, just fishing all day, doing whatever. And that's a very admirable thing. Someone can also be very, very happy working, for example, working in an animal shelter, doing something that's helping out the community, helping out other people, something like that. Someone can also be very happy being an entrepreneur. Someone can be very happy doing a 9 to 5 job. So people can be very, very happy doing whatever makes them happy, and that's what's important. To not put that judge of success or fulfillment on person to person, because it really comes from internal. For example, I'm kind of in a weird spot with I'm not 100% sure what I want to do right now. I know I'd love to play professional basketball. That would be an ultimate goal of mine. I'm not 100% sure how possible that is. I haven't done enough research about how difficult it is to do so, and obviously,
Yeah, they haven't seen the complete extent of your skill yet.
exactly. And then the other thing is like that wouldn't be a lifelong thing. I could play till I'm 30 maybe, but your body decays over time. But like I was saying, I'm in a weird spot right now of I'm not 100% sure what I want to do in terms of defining what success is for me, what fulfillment is for me. For a while through a lot of consuming content and stuff, I was kind of in that pipeline of entrepreneurship, making a lot of money, but now I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, yeah, but is that really going to make me happy? Am I really going to enjoy my passage of time like that? And now I'm thinking, I could sell all my shit and move to the woods. I think I'd be really happy doing that too. And I think it'll come to me eventually, but trying to find somewhere in the middle of those two, because those are kind of two extremes, and trying to find something that, will be a little bit not so traditionalist and working, whereas also, I'm kind of striving towards something, not just chilling out all day.
I think giving any sort of value to other people, like your community, can be something that can give you a lot of fulfillment.
Definitely.
So, obviously, if you're in the woods by yourself, you could be content on your own. But if you're lacking relationships, lacking all that, you're lacking a very key part of human nature.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you say that's kind of why you're not 100% leaning on the idea of going away forever?
When I say going away forever, that's an exaggeration. But living some sort of more simple life where I don't need to worry about making a lot of money and that type of stuff. But then there's the thought of, okay, if I don't make money, then I can't really have a family.
Yeah.
Having a family is, in my opinion, one of the best ways to influence the world, because if you raise your kids right, that's a great way to influence the world into basically creating mini yous. So I know Patrick Jr. is going to be doing great things one day, hopefully. But
Is Patrick Jr. going to be a signal?
he is going to be a signal. But if Patrick lives in the woods all day, I don't know if Patrick Jr. is going to even exist, because I don't know how many girls are going to want to live out in the woods with me.
No, I know a few.
Any specific?
Nah. Yeah, but like you said, I think everything you do in your life, whether you think of it or not, is the best way it can be leveraged is to help others and influence others.
100%.
Like you playing overseas basketball is just gonna increase your credentials with basketball, teaching basketball, talking about basketball. Maybe you can help other people maybe achieve that dream one day.
Mitch?
Like our group of Mitch. This is the third group of Mitch reference.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but it could be a bunch of things like me making a lot of money. Like I want to make a lot of money just so I can fucking like live in a nice house and drive a nice car everywhere.
Yeah.
I want to make a lot of money so I can leverage my income and invest in things to help people.
Yeah.
To give people maybe words of encouragement to make them happy.
That's huge. So that kind of connects to really, this is an idea I've been thinking about, and I consider myself a little bit of a philosopher, and this is
I know a few philosophers.
This is an idea I've been thinking about a little bit, and just trying to make some sort of framework for how I should live my life, and how I should, or not just me, how I believe other people could live their life and where they should receive happiness. I called it the happiness continuum. It was basically this upside down triangle.
Did you make this, or did you done research on this?
I kind of made this up. It's come from a lot of different.
I'm not looking at it to see if there's anything similar to the public tiger.
I don't think so. Basically, it's an upside down triangle with where you should try and achieve happiness from. And the bottom is short-term pleasures, things like eating good food or scrolling on TikTok, things like that, which are going to be not very long-term fulfilling, anything like that. Then at the top, I have it was really simple, but I just said virtue. And then in parentheses, it said helping others, making the world a better place. So what I think is huge with the idea called the happiness continuum is stacking it. So in terms of I can eat food I can eat a big steak if it's going to be really healthy for me, making me healthier. That's going to be achieving my goals. That's higher up on it. So something like achieving my goals, whatever that is, let's say for you is making a lot of money. But then it also combines with the virtue aspect, the helping others and making the world a better place. So let's say you make a lot of money so you can, or even with this, a better example would be with the podcast. The podcast grows. That's a goal within itself.
Yeah.
But then it's also teaching people. People are hopefully learning something. People are getting something out of watching the podcast every day. And they say, wow, these guys have really changed my life. I mean, I don't know necessarily, but I'm sure if you had someone genuinely telling you, this has changed my life, this has been awesome, basically, this has changed my life, this has made me so much of a better person, all this stuff, that would be more important than 1,000 followers. That would be huge for you because that type of stuff makes you feel good, and more importantly, it's making other people feel good.
Yeah. This is like, I don't know if this is the right thing, but it's kind of like a means to an end. This is just is that the right thing? Like it's kind of it's kind of a stepping stone, so I can get more engagement from other people. So people can see me that hopefully take what I say and make themselves better. And then it can also be used to make money, which in turn can be used to influence others, make them feel happier, and make a positive impact on the world.
Right. For example, one day I would love to write a book one day. I'm a really big reader. I read a lot of things in the sphere of personal development, spirituality, psychology, philosophy, things like that. All those things that I think help me get to where I want to be mentally, physically, and just in the world.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot from all these books, and I think it's a really, really important habit and really has helped me a ton. I would love to write a book one day. I'm not that good of a writer, but I think I have a lot of good ideas, and I think that I could help a lot of people doing it. Would I make some money with it? Yeah. Would people know my name? Yeah, but that's not important. I would love to help however many copies sold. If it's 50 copies sold even, I wouldn't care because that means hopefully I'm touching at least some of those 50 people. At least some of them read it and maybe learned a thing or two. And that got them to be happier, be in a better mental state, be more successful, whatever it is. And that would be huge for me.
You said you're saying you're not the best writer.
Mm-hmm.
I think you starting a podcast or even started your own just maybe private video essays. I noticed from when we started a podcast, us talking and like talking on a consistent basis about things, having to think, has maybe a lot more articulate, not only my words, but on paper.
Right.
I noticed even like 4 episodes in our podcast, when I'm writing in school, the words flow so much more naturally because writing is just like what you're saying on paper. It's like what you're saying in words. So I think if you really like start a podcast, it can be used as a supplement to you eventually want to write a book.
Okay, yeah, and that's also what I have been also just writing some things out. Like the other day I was just like I wrote like 5 pages of, I'm gonna write more. It was just like, I called it Reject Modernity. And it was just, I was basically writing all about a lot of stuff we're talking about today, about how the modern Western, a lot of just the culture around a lot of stuff is not what is going to make us happiest and most fulfilled. And it wasn't for school or anything. I was just writing it out, and I had a really good time writing it, and hopefully I'll expand on that more. And
what would you say your 3 biggest books that have influenced you?
it's a really good question.
How to win friends and influence people. That's
Now that book actually is high-key fun.
both those books are fire.
Hurt Me by David Goggins. That was one of the first personal books I read. And David Goggins is just an absolute beast. And that book more just pumped me up, hyped me up, motivated me more than anything. And just showed the power of discipline and just all of that stuff. Just hard work with no excuses, nothing like that. And I think that was huge. I think discipline is one of the that's an overarching thing that can help so many aspects of your life. So that would be number 1.
So number 1 is the David Goggins book, Cannot Hurt Me, or Can't Hurt Me.
Number 2, I would say, would be my second favorite book is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It talks a lot about relationships between people, and the difference between being a dependent person on others for your success, goals, happiness. Independent is often glorified a lot. You don't need others to be happy, to achieve your goals, stuff like that, to be a sigma. But Stephen Covey believes what's most important is to be interdependent, to be 100% 100% able and willing to achieve things on your own, but understand it's okay to ask others for help. And oftentimes, teamwork and synergies can achieve things that could never be achieved by one person. Synergy, I believe the definition is when the sum of the parts.
All parts are working together, right?
So synergy is when the sum of the parts is more than the whole. So it's almost like 1 plus 1 is 3, but that was stupid.
Wait, so it's like when
So it's like you have
so it's like when a man and a woman procreate.
kind of.
They produce perfect synergy to the point where they produce another being.
Exactly. So synergy is all about it's when the sum of the parts is more than the whole. So if you have 2 people working, they're gonna create, let's say.
Use basketball.
No, this is perfect. So synergy, it's the sum of the parts is more than the whole. So if you have 2 people working, they're gonna create 2. When it's 2 people working together synergistically, that's not a word, but 2 people working together, it can create 3. And that often can be exponential growth also. So it's like 4 people could create 16, for example, when it would be together. If they're all working independently, it would be 4.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that was my second favorite book. And my third favorite book would probably be Hour of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's basically, it says it's a guide to spiritual enlightenment. And it talks a lot about a lot of nonsense. It talks a lot about some pseudoscience with energies in your body.
Is it about earthing?
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
It talks a lot about different energies in your body and stuff like that. And me personally, I don't believe in that whatsoever. That's just me. If you believe in that, nothing wrong with that. But what I got the most out of it is the power of now. A lot of the things we were talking about in terms of being in the present, treating things as a means, not an end, not a means to an end, stuff like that, all comes from that book. And it was the idea, what I was saying about the future and the past aren't real, the present moment's all you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was very profound and very helpful to me. So those would be 3 of my favorite books. If you ask me another day, I might give you a whole different list, but those are 3 books that I've read that helped me a lot that I really enjoy.
And kind of like, this might sound kind of weird, but I recently read a book in my dystopian literature class called Fahrenheit 451.
You were telling me about this.
And what this book is about is it's a society where everyone's overstimulated. They always have their earbuds in. Their walls in their house are TVs, so there's like always can be stimulated. And pretty much the main focus is there's firefighters, and what these firefighters do is they burn all books and they rid the world of books. So people cannot make any significant knowledge consumption, and they're just overstimulated by all this kind of like short form content, which they end up not really taking in and utilizing. It's more of just entertainment.
So that reminds me a lot of, and I was writing about this a little bit in my essay when I was talking about rejecting modernity. What Nietzsche writes about in one of his books or essays is the idea of, it's called the last man, is what he calls it. And
that's literally a thing in dystopian books.
Oh, really?
That's a theme in dystopian books. It's the last person that rises up against the dystopian society.
Different thing.
Okay, I'm gonna hear what you say because I feel like it's never.
Sorry. So what Nietzsche talks about is, it's called the last man, and it's basically when he was alive in the 19th century, I believe, 18th century.
The oldest fuck.
Exactly. A very long time ago, before a lot of this stuff with phones, short-term phone content, anything like that. But he saw the path that humans were on towards always embracing comfort and not equality, that seems bad. Always embracing comfort, circumstances, always everything being the same, all things like that.
Communism.
Whoa, that's getting political. Let's watch it. But always embracing comfort and everyone being the same, and it basically got to a point where everyone was so comfortable they were too lazy to be. There was no rich or poor because both of them were too difficult. No one ruled over anyone because it was too difficult to be the ruler, too difficult to be the person that wasn't ruled.
That was spot on.
Exactly, and it was 100% spot on because we were all pampered, comforted by all of these modern pleasures, all of these things that I believe we need to break free from. No, not like reading.
You know, like
reading.
Shout out Finn.
That idea I thought was really cool that he was writing about that one or two, I don't know exactly when, to be honest. Can you look that up for me when Nietzsche was alive? That's the benefits of technology.
Hey man, there's something weird with Scooter chair back more because I think we're way bigger than Patrick. It looks kind of strange.
Yeah, I look mad small.
Yes. Nah.
Born October 15th, 1844.
Did you say burning?
Yeah. Bernie thing. Alright, you know what change stands for? Current habits are not good.
That's Bernieism.
Yes, that's Bernieism.
Black Friday, well, like Rap Friday, Rap Friday.
Goodness. Okay, wait, let's get back to it. Yeah, so Nietzsche was born October 15th, 1844. So this is some 170 years ago, and he predicted this really spot on, and that's often what I am starting to see with people constantly needing stimulation, constantly being comfortable, constantly too afraid to go outside into the cold, getting all their food door dashed, all of this stuff, just comfort, really make us happier. I don't believe so. I think we need to embrace discomfort, do things that are hard, do things that are uncomfortable. For example, me and Eddie went swimming in the ocean when it was really cold last night.
My feet almost fell off.
And Eddie's feet almost fell off.
I was walking out, I was cold sand for hella long, I actually couldn't feel my toes.
But afterwards, it was a great experience, and we were saying, like, if we can do this, like, why are we doing this? And we were like, no, because it's tough. But that ability to embrace discomfort is going to be even helpful when I'm working out and playing basketball and I'm really tired. But yeah, I'm uncomfortable, but it's what I got to do. Or
it's like you're flex that muscle in your brain to be able to go through discomfort.
Exactly, you're learning to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and I think a lot of people in the world today are constantly comfortable, and I think that's a really big problem with society and people in general.
And that's why you see all these personal development guys like, oh, wake up and take a cold shower in the morning.
Yes. But I mean, I take cold showers every morning. That's the sign of doing it. Yes, it's corny, but I think it's definitely a useful thing for a lot of people.
Yeah. Fuck, I just want to say.
Look on your phone.
Oh, my phone.
It's been 55 minutes.
No, keep going.
Yeah, I feel like we've been yapping and blabbering for a lot of it.
I don't think so. Oh. Why do you feel like you were blabbering?
I mean, a little bit.
No, you're not. That's why I always kind of feel like that.
No, we should kind of cut out the.
So, just this one's got weird, but we're kind of going to be bouncing back to what you said about being independent and being a Sigma male.
Oh.
Like you said, instead of the habits of a highly effective people, for one, at least for a period of time, I completely wanted to just be independent. Like, all these people don't fucking matter. I figured myself, that's all that matters. If I was alone, nothing would matter. I would be completely fine. I could still build on myself. I don't need anyone else. Mm-hmm. And I still kind of do believe this. Like, I think if I was completely alone, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't really want to go out to parties. I wouldn't really want to go to social gatherings. I'd much rather like be at my house and build on myself. But as of recently, I started to realize the importance of me going out, not to have fun, but to almost build my relationships with others, build my capacity to socialize, build a completely other avenue of my character. Because being able to socialize, being able to make relationships is such an important key component to life success, career success.
As well as just overall happiness.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, having really good friends, romantic relationships, stuff like that can be very, very fulfilling and very, just overall make you a lot happier in life.
No, on this podcast, I tend to hate alcohol sometimes, but it's just, when people go out to a party and they drink alcohol, I think it just lowers their capacity to be in the moment. They're not able to fully be there because their mind is affected by a drug. So they're not completely able to enjoy the other person's company. They're not completely able to soak in this environment and all the intricacies that go into that.
So I would actually somewhat disagree with that, and I want to make it clear. I do not drink whatsoever. If I was president, I would bring back prohibition. I think alcohol is definitely a bad thing for society and a bad thing for a lot of people. However, what if you're someone that's really, really shy and really has trouble talking to other people and making friends and stuff like that? Sometimes a lot of the time, or especially talking to girls, for example, sometimes a confidence shot or two can really help those people out. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's a complete cop-out. Because obviously if someone has these insecurities and stuff, if they just had the discipline to realize that they're lacking something else.
I'm sorry.
If they're lacking this, call it a video game character, they're lacking this key part of their skill tree. Okay. They can't talk to people. Rather than drinking alcohol and use it as a cop-out so they can talk to people, why wouldn't they just actively talk to people and try to get out of their comfort zone and build that skill? Drinking alcohol is not going to build that skill. All it's going to do is just kick the trash down the road, make it so they'll just avoid it.
Okay, I would agree with that. And then especially the other side of that is, and I've seen this with a lot of people, is they really struggle to socialize without alcohol. They're at the point where every time they're hanging out with their buddies, they're drinking, or especially talking to girls. And then if they don't have drinks in them, they're like bland conversations, not having fun, and that's definitely a very big problem if you're dealing with that.
I think every single time I go, I stress out so fucking crazy. I think every single time I go out and I'm not the one drinking alcohol and everyone else is drinking alcohol, I am gaining more from the party and the social interactions because I am personally in the moment able to dissect the conversations, able to observe like these exchanges going on, like these energy exchanges, rather than just being drunk.
I don't disagree with you on that, but I think socializing is something that's very emotional and takes on that side of your brain, and you're really trying to rationalize it and break it into different pieces. I think you might do that a little bit. I'm not arguing with it. I don't think you're wrong, but I think you might be taking that to a little higher level than you.
I wouldn't say I go out and think about that, but just like when I just look back on it, it's like if everyone else is super fucked up and I'm not, I'm the only one that can learn from the situation. I'm the only one that can learn from the party. I'm the only one that can like maybe develop better social skills rather than just continuously getting more drunk to hopefully score with that chick.
Okay. But what if you're someone that's really shy, maybe a little bit autistic, something like that, and you've never talked to a girl or anything? You don't think that them taking a confidence shot is a good thing? To go get some?
I don't think it's necessary. I think it's just a cop out.
Okay, what if they're autistic?
If they're autistic, then I don't know. Maybe I could be considered autistic. And I noticed, kind of in the beginning of my kind of venture to go out more within the beginning of the year, I was a lot worse at talking to people.
Okay, there you go.
I've noticed every single kind of exchange that comes on going forward, I have improved my effectiveness of talking. And the podcast has also been a great supplement, I think, to be able to articulate conversation better.
I actually have a really good point to make with this.
Okay.
So when you're saying about going out more, I'd say I was the same way as you, especially this summer. At the start of the summer,
On July 3rd.
Exactly. At the start of the summer, I went through a really.
Alright, so he went through a really difficult breakup.
I went through a breakup, just say that.
Yeah. So I would actually agree with a lot of stuff you were saying, and I had a point to make with this. I kind of experienced a lot of this as well. So at the start of the summer, I went through a breakup and kind of stopped socializing with a lot of the people I was socializing with sometimes, because for better or for worse, a lot of time with my significant other, I'd go out kind of more than I wanted to, and then I was out of that, so I was like, I'm just gonna go to the gym all day and hang out with a few of my really close friends.
You know the cute girl after you broke up with?
You see this?
Kind of that, bro.
Yeah.
No,
Where do I start back from?
you're talking about your girl.
I just had a point to make with that is, so at the start of the summer, I went through a breakup, and that kind of caused me to go out, like to parties and stuff, and socialize with a lot of people less. And for better, that happened. Like my significant other would I'd go out with her a lot, and looking back on it, sometimes I was like, damn, I don't want to go to this shit. But looking back on it, I am thankful to her. If you're seeing this, I'm actually thankful to her that she made me go out and socialize, because I think it's a very important thing. Then this summer, I kind of did my own thing a lot. I would, go to the gym, read, meditate, play golf, and hang out with a couple of my really close friends. I had a really good time in that time period, but yeah, there was somewhat of a lack of socializing with a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
I would hang out with a lot of my, I hung out with you guys a lot, which are, I'd say we're somewhat like-minded.
Yeah.
And kind of wasn't exposed to some other people that I would still consider really good friends of mine. Then I got to college, and it's been the complete opposite. I'm almost never alone. I live in a suite with 10 people, and so I'm always at least with one of my friends now, and I've really enjoyed that a lot, honestly. And it's also, I've socialized with and become friends with a lot of very different people.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a lot of different perspectives on life that you can gain from. I think all of us are in really good mental states and going down different paths, to different very good paths. But there could be different people going down completely different paths. And, oh, I've never thought about that. Oh, I've never looked at things this way. Oh, stuff like that. So I think socializing with different people can be very useful. I believe Emmanuel, what name said his name? Person said something along the lines of, I'm going to butcher this, but why should I judge someone? Like, I basically said along the lines of, I can learn something from every man. He has something, point of view, some perspective that I haven't thought about. I don't see things this way. So you can at least think about it and say, oh, I don't agree with that, but, at least somewhat acknowledge it from other people.
I can't relate to you with the girlfriend thing. I would say I looked at things way too black and white when I was in a relationship. I wouldn't really hang out with my girlfriend that much. Not because I dislike her. I did like my girlfriend, but I would much rather value things like going to the gym or meditating or trading. And I would say that's kind of a flaw I had. If I look back, I should probably be more
Involved.
more like involved, like emotionally involved. But
Definitely. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think your emotions are ultimately what's kind of most important because, I feel like Aristotle said the highest virtue is being happy.
Yeah.
And I would somewhat agree with that.
Mhm.
And, when you're completely neglecting all of these emotional things and you're just grinding all day, not thinking about others, not thinking about your relationships with others, stuff like that, you can be blinded by your grind.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I would say that happened. Like because I wouldn't consider myself really romantic at all. I would always kind of consider it like almost corny. I could never see myself doing that. Like I've told you guys about this. I would say, to me, I don't really consider this a low point. I guess other people could see this, but one time I went out to a kind of fancy-ish restaurant, and there was like swordfish on the menu for like $42, and she ended up getting like a salad, and obviously I paid for everything, but I saw the menu. I'm like, damn, if I get any of this food, I'm not going to be able to get full and also take out the mortgage. So what I did was she got her thing, and I ordered a $6 thing of fries to be respectful to the place. I paid, left, and then what did I do? I thought so black and white fundamentally, like, I want to get good output from my input. So then I ended up paying. So I ended up right after the date, got a keto bar and getting myself 2 keto bowls. And which some people will probably be like, oh, that's so embarrassing you did that, but I just thought that was the realistic, smart thing to do. Like, I don't care. Like, I didn't care about like this really societal pressure to do the right thing at a restaurant. But looking back, I think I probably should have just swallowed my. I was on the ego. Just swallowed my first thoughts and kind of just been a little more selfless and made the experience better for the date. You know what I mean?
So I think an overarching theme about this one.
No, but low key looking back, I still would get the Kidobo, but I still do feel.
So, an overarching theme about this, like a big theme about this episode was about, there's the traditional conforming path and then there's the different paths, Whatever those paths are could potentially make you happier, more fulfilled.
Shit.
Now, I think there's some circumstances, like the one you described, where, you can be completely disconnected from the world at times.
I could go to talk about these stories forever. Alright, so, I would say it's probably the end of the summer, and Amy let me borrow his weighted vest, and it was probably 11 p.m. at night. And my mom was like, "You're not going for a walk. You're gonna go barefoot." I'm like, "Mom, I'm not gonna go barefoot." But the thing is, I always walk barefoot because even though it looks weird, it strengthens my arches. There's earthing benefits.
Could you explain earthing benefits for me?
Alright, so pretty much earthing, people consider it pseudoscience, but it's real science. And pretty much what it does, it's like your feet are absorbing the electromagnetic fields from the earth, and it resets your brain, instills you with the wholesome vigor of the earth.
Ooh, I like that.
And then what I also did was, I also put on a weighted vest, and also wore nose tape. And it was about to amount of tape, I thought that was too far. Just walking around town, I'm 6'6", 230 pounds, with a weighted vest on that looks like a bulletproof vest, no shoes, sweatpants, no shirt, walking around town at 11 p.m. And, I didn't think, what are people going to think about me? I thought, this is so practical to do. I'm getting a good cardio in, I'm strengthening my arches, and I'm listening to a podcast. I'm killing 3 birds with 1 stone. And I saw nothing wrong with that until I came home. My mom screamed at me that someone saw me walking down town and said I looked like a fucking psychopath.
Really?
Yeah. So, I'm over.
So I have driven by you during your walks before, and you look like a strange fella, I must say. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, everything we were saying was, not conforming sometimes. There are better paths, you can forge your own. However, I feel like sometimes when you get too far from the path, you might alienate yourself a little bit and lose out on some, societal benefits. And humans are social creatures at the end of the day. So the other thing that I would like to talk about with the last 2 examples you made about you being autistic.
I'm autistic.
So Mark Manson talks about this in his book. It's called Everything is Fucked, a book about hope. So he talks about this in his book called Everything is Fucked, a book about hope. At the start of the book, he talks about how you have 2 different brains. You have your thinking brain and your feeling brain. Your thinking brain is the logical, rational brain that deals with numbers a lot deals with decision making and just rationally breaking things down, looking at things from that type of perspective. The book I'm reading right now, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance by Robert M. Pirsig, talks about this in a different way. It talks about classical versus analytical. Look it up for or no, sorry. It talks about classical versus romantic. That's definitely it must have been like. It talks about classical versus your romantic mind, and it basically talks about the example it has is looking at a pile of sand. You can look at the pile of sand as a pile as a whole, or you can pick apart every little grain. Seems like Eddie tends to pick apart every little grain. Would you say that would be correct?
Yeah. And this was something weird too, but you know how I think you kind of get to the point to where like there's people that can be emotionally intelligent, like kind of regular, like
Yes.
regular IQ.
Definitely.
But I think I weirdly can also have high emotional intelligence. I feel like I always know what everyone is thinking when I'm talking to them. I feel like I can like dissect everyone's insecurities. But I don't know if that's just me with like
A God,
Like you're just I think oftentimes you're overanalyzing things. I think there's certain things that are in the realm of your thinking brain, some things are in the realm of your feeling brain. And those things don't really overlap that much. And you can make them overlap, but when you make them overlap, it fucks things up. Yeah. So, for example, if a lot of the time people think about, not thinking about decision making and just going with, a lot of the time people say, oh, he or she doesn't think, they just feel, they just make reactions off their gut. Exactly. And that would be something that I would say would be bad for a lot of decision making for, planning for long-term things, whatever. But then there's also the thing about having like deep emotional conversations, connections, stuff like that, and you're breaking apart every little thing when that's not what's going to achieve the best results.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why you can see like a kind of high divorce rate in the country, in USA, just in general, because women and men get to see things on a very different level. So when they have like, let's say they're on the same power pedestal in the United States, one of them thinks to think more logistically, because men naturally they do think with a more logical mind. Women, they're more emotionally capable.
Right.
You could see them getting on arguments based off like an emotional side and a logistical side, and it could end up leading to a lot of fights and ending up to divorce.
Definitely, and it's not necessarily to say one is right, one is wrong. I think
Yeah.
it definitely depends on the situation, the circumstance. I think both have their merit, both are right in certain circumstances. Some things require both minds, some require one, some require more than the other, whatever. And oftentimes, so sometimes people are more, like you said, men are typically more logical, women are typically more emotional, and that can lead to some some bad things in terms of divorce rates, which, I think there's also a lot of other modern factors that lead to divorce rates. I could get into that, but
Yeah.
Leave that for another podcast.
Yeah. Huh.
You guys get
I mean, stop talking about some of your stuff.
I think you guys that day.
Fuck that. Oh fuck! Here's not.
Joseph. Obstacles,
That's what I'm saying. Like we say, what's next, and we end up there. I think you have more shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of shit to talk about. Stuff.
and
Just come on another day then.
yeah, but I play for college.
Yeah, when you get back home.
Summarizing key lessons, discussing balance, mindful approach, strategy, integrating mindfulness.
Mindfulness too much because
That could be a whole nother episode.
yeah. Also, Gavin Kempskos came on and talk about what he's writing.
Oh, that's awesome.
You can also come on through what you're reading if you read about more. If you've got some more stuff to talk about.
I think that's a great place to
But
end.
where were we going before?
I think we kind of like went off like
A tangent.
off the script. Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta talk to them. Want to give like want to just kind of like probably say we're wrapping it up. Say like what's next for the future, and we can end up streamlining into more things. Okay, so Patrick, what do you think are three key like supplements to people's philosophy that they should add? Or let me rephrase that: supplements to their life, not just like obviously drinking supplements, but just like supplements in general that they can add to their life to make them feel better. It's more like meditation supplement, like see what I'm saying?
So in general,
Like lack of social media supplement.
I would say meditation. I would say, like you said, we didn't really talk much about this in this episode, but paradigm shifts and mentally framing things in, typically I get a lot of I get a lot of influences from a lot of Stoic philosophy.
That's what I was about
I
to say.
think that helps me a lot in terms of creating opportunities out of obstacles and things like that. I could get into a bunch of examples of that, but that's, for another time.
Mm-hmm.
And then third, I would say using technology as a tool, but making sure you don't become a tool mentally because of your technology use.
You do social media, don't let social media use you.
Exactly.
Once again, you use social media, don't let social media use you.
But I also think it expands the issue more than just social media. If it's your phone in general, if it's even something like, well, technology is a really broad term.
Yeah.
If it's even something like, I don't know, your house, okay? Your house keeps you warm. However, you don't want to be so obsessed with being comfortable and warm that it creates you to be stagnant, to not be able to go out in the cold for a little bit, because oftentimes you can experience and grow and do things out in the cold that are going to help you a lot to grow mentally and physically as a person. That's a really basic example, but yeah, I would say just using technology as a tool, but not becoming ever over-reliant on it, because you never know. World War III might happen and we might be... God forbid, of course. I'm not going to do that, but God forbid, Buddha forbid. But, you never know. Maybe there's going to be, okay, if you're over-reliant on technology, for example, what happens when there's a power outage?
Yeah.
It's just always, I think that's a key idea with Stoicism, is being able to reap your rewards of the hard work you have and the things that you are blessed with, but not so that you'd be really upset or incapable of moving on when you lose them. So I think that would be really big.
Be content with the present.
Exactly. So 3 things. Mindfulness/meditation, which is going to cause you to be content and happy in the present moment and experiencing things in the present moment. 2 would be paradigm shifts, mental framing through Stoicism, treating opportunities as obstacles and lessons for growth. It's a lot easier to change how you view things, change how you see things, how you perceive things, than it is to change the actual outside world. There's a lot of things outside of your control in the world, and we should just try to view those in the most positive way possible. More fati.
Love your fate.
That's my lucky coin.
To love one's fate.
And 3, to use technology so it helps you, but
Doesn't hurt you.
Understand that technology isn't everything, and you learning to be comfortable without using technology. I'd say those would be 3 of my most beneficial tips to help people living a happy, healthy, fulfilled, sustainable life. So yeah.
Awesome.
So what's next for you, Patrick?
What's next for me? I go back to school tomorrow. Got practice tomorrow night. Just gonna keep grinding away with basketball. Hopefully.
No, you're gonna cross by the pickup, right?
No. I'll keep grinding away with basketball. Hopefully, can be getting more in the rotation with that.
Let's go.
Continuing to meditate, read, hopefully write a little bit, and making money when I get to when I get that opportunity. But I'd say what's most important for me is, I just listed off a lot of things there, is just trying to figure out where I'm at and figure out what I want to pursue for the next chapter of my life. My chapter of high school and growing up has kind of ended. I kind of consider myself a man now, and kind of see what that has to bring and what I want to make it bring for me. So
you say you're a male. What type of male? Sigma man.
A Sigma man.
Guys, Patrick Cronin, everybody. Yeah.
Woo! All right, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to leave a like.
Free rogue roots.
Wait, stop. Make sure to subscribe, because this is going to be the new channel.
Yes. Subscribe. Yeah.
Nah.